story must be told. I'm Samuel Axel, and this is the Samacast, your North Star for navigating a world in radical transformation. My mission is to make sense of our times by weaving together the split parts into one whole, bridging exponential technology with spirituality and purpose with creative expression. This is a space for deep thought and human connection, allowing us to thrive and evolve together as the creators of our lives. I will share my voice alongside that of artists and teachers who envision the new story of mankind through the lens of wisdom, science, and human potential. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Yehezkel Abulafia, a Kabbalist, meditation teacher, a good friend, and a father with a big heart living with his family in Israel. We explore topics such as prophecy, Torah Israel, and the journey of the Jewish people. This is a deep conversation between two close friends that was recorded at midnight in December 2022, right in the heart of the mystical town of Tzfat during my visit there. Enjoy. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Victor Victor Schustein, which is a Hebrew name that's
Yehezkel Abulafia.
Yehezkel Abulafia.
Yeah.
He's been a good friend of mine for many years, several years, and I would not be who I am today, and I would not be where I am today in my life without you. You've got one of the greatest hearts that I know of, and you're carrying some very important.
Same to you, man. You're one of my special friends that come and go through my life, but like we always stay in touch, and you're always off doing holy missions around the world and bringing people together and bringing peace. So thank you for having me on this, man. Yeah. How many episodes do you have?
Like 7, 8 in total.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm here. My mission here is to interview some of my very wise and cool friends in Israel and Tzfat and get the input from the Jewish wisdom. And this is also why I gotta have you on here. And thank God we've been able to make it the last day before I leave, despite a very turbulent week so far.
It was a lot to get here.
It was a lot to get here, but we're both in a good mood, and it's Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Happy Hanukkah. Yeah.
Living the dream, living in Israel, because that was the whole thing.
And
learning Torah.
So you're a father of 2. You got a wife.
Thank God.
You're running a kollel.
Co-running, like I.
You're co-running a kollel.
Yeah.
And you're living an incredible life in many aspects. Then it's tough at times, but
yeah, I mean, life has challenges, but it's not about the challenge. It's about how you react to it and putting your trust into God, really. And if you do that, then everything just is like, no matter how bad things look, it's like it's all good, Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright,
Exactly.
Yeah, Rasta Rebbe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Rasta Rebbes up here in the.
I share the same birthday as Bob Marley.
That's incredible.
He's an inspiration, bro.
Yeah.
He wore a chai on his necklace.
Amazing.
Yeah, he knew what was up. He talks about Zion all the time. The lion is Zion.
Yeah. You definitely got the heart of Bob Marley. But what brought you to Israel? How did you get on this journey to connect with God? Maybe you can give us a little short tour.
It's not that short, but I will try my best.
Definitely not short.
I will definitely try my best. I wasn't raised observant, I wasn't religious. But I was Jewish, I knew that I was Jewish. Both my parents were just not practicing. I didn't actually know how to practice. I even didn't know that you couldn't drive a car on Shabbat. I would drive by a shul, a synagogue, and see, like the religious people, like Chabad, like walking, and I was like, oh wow, they live pretty close to the temple, I guess. But so I didn't really get it until later down the line. I went on Birthright, which is called Taglit. It's a free trip for Jews, American Jews, 10 days in Israel. And it's a whole huge trip. They take you all around. And so I came here and I was inspired. I felt like I've been here like for thousands of years. I felt home. It's weird. It's like when you have a dream and then like in real life you actually live out the dream and you're like, you have deja vu and you're like, oh my God, I dreamt this. Like that's how it felt. Like the whole, it was, yeah, exactly. It was, I was like, I've been here and I'm so happy to be back. And I felt it like throughout my whole being. And then I started learning about my mom's side of the family, and they were very big mystics. The main one is Abraham Abulafia. My mom's last name is Abulafia, and then I took that on when I moved to Israel because this changed my life. So his name's Abraham Abulafia. You've done a little research on him, right? Yeah. So he lived in the 12th century, 13th century. He was in the 1200s, and he's from Spain, and he mastered the Torah totally, like until like I think at 13, and then at 16, 17, 18 he learned with his father who taught one of the biggest mystics also. His name is the Ramban, and also from Spain. So his father passes away after teaching him, and he felt he had this mission to go to Israel, and also, by the way, he would learn and teach with all other mystics of like different religions, the Christian mystics and the Islamic mystics, and they would whirl together too. He would always talk about God, and he incorporated it was a type of yoga. It's called the yoga of Abraham, or Otiyot, and he would take Hebrew letters and just like in yoga, where you do different postures, he would do the postures of the Hebrew letters and channel different energies like that. He was an amazing mystic, and he's like probably one of the main sources of Kabbalah, and Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, and he has these techniques where he's head movements and breathing techniques and visualization, also the permutations where you're doing a writing meditation, and you're like, you take a few letters and then you mix it up and then you mix it up and you go into a trance. And so he has these many different types of meditations. Also, there's speaking meditations, there's screaming meditations, there's dancing meditations. So he was, I would say, kind of like a Yoda type of character in the Jewish religion.
So you got to know about him, and you got to
change my life.
You got to tune into your own ancestry, and
yeah.
I don't know, something probably got activated, or
I started having crazy experiences I can't even really put into words. Like my third eye opened up. I was like having really amazing dreams and experiences, and I still am till this day. It's not constant, like I'm a human being and it's like real life, but like I've seen things and I've experienced like I would say supernatural, it's and yeah, it's like I said, it's hard to even put into words, but it changed my life.
And that made you also move to Israel?
Yeah. So I went back to college after that whole trip. I even said to my friend when I was here in Tzfat, and I said to him, I'm going to live here, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, I feel like I belong here and I have to come here and learn Kabbalah. And so I did. And now I'm still on the journey. I wouldn't say I'm a master. I'm like a Padawan. I'm like learning, I'm a rabbi in training, literally. That's what I'm doing. So, yeah, this is my Hogwarts.
Rabbi internship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing journey, and I'm learning so much about, my culture and who I am and my ancestors, and just so much wisdom, and also experiencing life and just living, being a happy human being, being a good human being, and like trying to pursue good and do good and always try to give as much as I can. And bad things happen, but it's like how you react to it, and it's really all from God. That's what it comes down to. Nothing really exists but God. Everything is God. And, God lives in me and you and every single person, and that's the truth. And we're like, it's kind of like the Matrix, but God is the creator of the Matrix, and he is the Matrix. It's the whole simulation is God. And we're here sent into this world to not just experience life, but elevate it. And I think that's what we're meant to do here, right? Like Adam, be it, live it. Adam was sent here, right? Like before Adam and Eve, before he like sinned and ate the fruit wasn't ripe yet. Like the fruit was going to be ready for him on Shabbat. That's what the Zohar says.
What's Shabbat?
Shabbat is the day of rest. It's the best day in the world. It is actually the concept of the weekend. Every other religion thinks that they're right about it, but like I don't know, God kind of said it was on Saturday. Like the Christians think it's Sunday, the Muslims think it's Friday. I mean, listen, let's take all 3 days off. I'm cool with that, but like I'm gonna be like keeping Shabbat on Saturday, Right. And there's certain rules to it, and I keep that, and it's awesome, bro. I shut off my phone. I shut down from the whole world. I really rest. I'm like, I don't watch TV at all. You can't touch fire, So
it's a very special experience.
Yeah.
Being here within the religious community as well. No one's driving. No one is.
It's amazing.
Using their phones.
And I think the whole world needs that, as in just like shut down for like a day.
It makes sense. Some of the rules might be a bit.
Yeah, no, you don't
far
have,
out
bro.
people,
You don't have to like. If you shut off the lights, you shut it off. Turn it back on. You could do whatever you want, man. It's a Jewish thing, and we only do it because it's all connected to the Beit HaMikdash. We don't have the Beit HaMikdash, and we learn. There's so many laws. I could show it to you, bro.
What's the Beit HaMikdash?
Oh, the temple. Sorry, the first temple we had, King Solomon, he built it. The second temple we had, they were both destroyed. First by the Persians, Nebuchadnezzar, and then the second one was the Romans. But also the whole story of Hanukkah. It was in the beginning. We had the second temple, and then the Greeks came in. The army was here and conquered the lands, and they wouldn't let us learn Torah. Like they took away the Brit Milah, the circumcision. They took away a lot of different things, and made it illegal. It was illegal here to be a Jew, really a practicing Jew. And so the whole story of Hanukkah is the Maccabees overcame the Greek army, and the Maccabees were only like this family. They were the priests, the Kohen Gadol, the big kahuna. Matisyahu, that's his name. He's a Maccabee, and him and his family they conquered it, and it took 40 years. But yeah,
dedication.
I mean, it was only like 40 people, so it was 40 people against the whole Greek army, and then the whole Hanukkah story of they finally got the menorah. Everything in the temple was desecrated. There was no pure oil, but then they found one pure little jar of oil. They poured it in, lit the menorah, and it lasted 8 nights, not just one night. And it was like a huge miracle. And there's more miracles that also occurred. But yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's Hanukkah. And the best thing is, I'm living it now. I am here. I am living as a practicing Jew. And it's fun.
Yeah, okay. So trace back a little bit. So you came to Israel and you lived in Jerusalem and
for 3 years, yeah.
For 3 years studying at the yeshiva.
Right where the kotel is, like the wall, the western wall. Yeah. I lived right there, and I was like, that was my view.
So that was
awesome.
Had a huge impact for you. But then you went up to Tzfat, and you've been living in Tzfat
since 2016. Yeah,
and
that's when we met. I think
that's
when I first moved to Tzfat. 2017. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's my old apartment, my first one here.
Yeah, so that was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
a lot has happened since.
Yeah,
When I met, you were a single guy and you were kind of doing your own thing. Now you got a family, you got 2 kids, 2 children, you got a wife, and yeah, you're growing up. We're growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 30 now, so
Yeah.
yeah, thank God. Life just happens, and it's these experiences that take me on the journey. You met me, I think, before I even met my wife, and then you met me when I was dating my wife, and then we broke up, and then she came back, and then we had kids, and here I am with 2 kids.
But what's your personal mission regarding all this with your ancestors and with the Kabbalah and like doing all this studying?
Well, the family life is definitely, I think, mission number 1, because that continues the line down generation to generation. Now I'm going to give it to my son and my daughter and bring it down to their kids and their kids. That's how I got here. And I think that's the secret to life.
Why is this important?
It's the most important thing. It's actually what God told Adam, be fruitful and multiply. And, that's what life is all about. God gave us his superpower of creation. And it's up to us to create a beautiful garden. And the best way to do that is through the holy, connection with your other half, which, this male and female. That's how God created everything. There's 2 energies. There's feminine energy and there's masculine. There's giving and receiving. And that is the whole cycle of life. And so I believe, it may everybody meet their soulmate, and that don't marry for money, don't marry for lust, marry because follow your heart. Do you love this person? Does this person bring you out, and you could be yourself with them, and you could just and they're with you and your support and your partner, and then that's the way to go.
And why do you think this is an important aspect of a human psychospiritual development?
Yeah.
To finding
you'll be
place.
whole. You'll be whole.
And if you don't,
you won't feel whole. You'll be somewhat empty. It's that's what I believe, man. My own personal, when I was single, I was happy, but I wasn't whole. I was always desiring a partner, a wife. I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted somebody to share my life with, to love and to make love with. And, it's a beautiful, that making love is probably the most spiritual experience ever, if it's done in the right way. If not, then it could be more animalistic and lustful. But it's it's a fine line between that. And that's why marriage is a thing of making 2 parties feel comfortable with each other, and they trust each other, and they make
So what is marriage
commitment.
from a spiritual standpoint? What is the marriage about? Because a lot of people, we kind of lost the spiritual significance of marriage.
Marriage is that she is your other half of the soul. She is you in a woman's form, or in a man's form, together, unionized, and you are the full person now. And it's like a vessel to receive all this godly light coming down. And when you're a half vessel, it works, but you're only you're only functioning half. You're not receiving all the abundance that you should be receiving.
So also for a person to be a good teacher and a good
you also learn life, and you confront yourself through being in this type of relationship.
It feels like there's something more whole that can be transmitted for someone who has a successful functioning family with children.
But you make that functioning family. Everyone's dysfunctional.
Because a lot of today, the general idea, at least in the West, is to you have to make the career, you have to make the money, you have to make all the
from
things,
there.
and then eventually maybe you're 35 and then you can start thinking about this.
I know that's the way that I was raised, and
maybe you have two children, but you're 30. A lot of the other friends are under 30.
I got married at 26.
They already have children, so I find that very interesting, and I think a lot of other people would find it interesting as well. Why would someone?
The Jewish way is different. It's get married, get a house, and then you get a career with it.
And this requires another kind of trust and faith.
There's a lot of Jewish families that, like the religious ones, they send that, like the father-in-law, like sends like their son-in-law to learn for a year, and they support them for being in yeshiva or / kollel and learning for a full year, and they encourage that in a lot of religious Orthodox communities. Because Torah is above everything. Torah is above, our career. It's above it guides us in life.
Right, but one still has
it's
to
our beacon, basically.
One still has to make his life function, and we have to have money to do the things.
Yeah, but it's different that, like, when you get this vessel and you complete this harmony, you harmonize with your wife and you become one soul. It's like a whole ceremony. Have you seen a Jewish wedding?
Yeah, it was this one.
So there's the chuppah. You see, like, the thing that they go under, and then the girl, like, goes around the husband, 7 times, I believe, and it's like braiding their souls together, and then it's a whole ceremony, and then there's a marriage contract, and it's very technical, and everything is Kabbalistic. There's intention for every little thing. So that's what Kabbalah is. Kabbalah tells the secrets behind what's going on there, and I think that's what the people need in the world, to understand that, like, we're not just doing laws, like, because I'm not allowed to eat meat and dairy. I can't have a cheeseburger, like, why can't I have a cheeseburger? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, but there are spiritual elements going on there. And for some reason, as a Jew, we have to be on a specific diet, because we're like we're spiritually sensitive to certain energies. And when you put, like, meat and cheese together, there's 2 energies going on there. There's the energy of death, which is the meat, and then there's the energy of life, which is the dairy, which is like milk. And so when you put those 2 energies together, it kind of not good for a Jewish, like, soul. And
I don't think anyone feels incredibly spiritually awakened after eating a big cheeseburger.
No. And it's funny, when I was becoming more observant, I was kosher for a while, and then I went to go visit my cousin in New Jersey, and there was no kosher food anywhere. And I was starving, bro. Like, I haven't eaten all day. I felt like I was going to pass out. And my cousin's like, no, over here is, like, great, like, authentic Spanish food. And, it's, like, really good. I go there all the time. I went there. I ate their food, bro. I was sick for a week. I was throwing up. And then the whole time I was crying. I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I learned my lesson.
Yeah. It's not easy to be a Jew, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
But when you tap in, you start feeling, like, this godly light going through. Like, that's why I love doing these mitzvahs, like putting on tefillin. That's not, like, when people think mitzvah, they think good deed, right? And they are usually good deeds, but there are certain mitzvahs that, like, putting on, like, this strap, you've seen my tefillin. It's this box, and you put on your arm and your head and strap it up. It's actually doing something to me, man. I feel like this godly, like, electricity go through my body, and it feels amazing. And also, if I don't do it, I have a bad day. But if I do it, then I'm pumped up, I'm ready to go. I kind of, like, have, like, more energy. So I'm doing it because I actually feel it, and I think I feel it because I've been meditating on certain ideas in Hasidus and Kabbalah, like Jewish mysticism. And it kind of, like, gives kind of brings it more to life. Like, some people just learn Torah straight up how it is, and it's like dry, and it's sometimes intense, and it says
that's also
crazy things, you know. But like when you do it with the lens of Kabbalah, Hasidus, and all of these commentaries, it explains it more practical into your life, and you know. So I think Kabbalah is going to change the world, really.
Yeah, it's been a part of
change your world, right? So it's
I never read anything of it directly.
Yes, but we've talked about it.
But we talked about it
so
and I
many
think that's
times.
been the main. So the thing it goes back to is the experience. Like we have to experience this.
Yeah, come to Tzfat, everybody.
You don't even have to come here, but I mean,
no, it's cool. It's a great vacation place. You know,
it's a cool catalyst because
it's very. Contact me. I'll give you a tour. Brought to you by Hashem.
But it's the experience of the divine. I mean, and of something beyond ourselves that's really necessary for us to awaken. Doesn't matter how many spiritual concepts or how many things we read in whatever book or the Torah or the Bible.
All about experience.
I mean, it means nothing if it's dry. Like a prayer means nothing if you don't do it with your heart. Like if a Jew just do this without his heart involved, it's like.
Unfortunately, there are people like that though, like robotic, and they just go through the motions. And I try to help them, you know, and may God help everybody. So we have to tune into
our hearts. Thank God you got a very big one.
Well, you have to use both your mind and heart, you know, and you have to connect them together and harmonize them, realign them once in a while. But don't let the heart make the decisions. But also, like they should have a conversation with each other, the mind and the intellect and the heart, you know. But you can't just put one in control. If it's all intellect, you're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna be human. And if it's all emotion, then you're just going to be irrational all the time. So
it's about finding wholeness. And this is the time of wholeness. This is the time of integration and bridging wisdom between different cultures, between different traditions, because there's so much wisdom out there.
Everyone has wisdom. We have to share it.
It's not like we have to go and dig through it in a book. I mean, the seed is within us, but then there are a lot of amazing tools that can help us.
The book helps guide us along, and also for the generations after generations, because for us, at least, we were in exile. We still are in exile because not everyone's here yet. But we've been pushed around and bullied, unfortunately. But there's been Holocaust after Holocaust for thousands of years, for a long time. But thank God now I'm just like, I took a flight over here, man. It's like the biggest miracle in the world. It took one day to get to Israel for me, where I just said, I'm going. And then they paid me, bro. I made Aliyah, right? I became Israeli. They gave me money. They said, here you go. That's cool. I was like, I've never heard of that before. Like every other country kicked us out, you know, like we had to flee for our life. But here, there's so much kosher food, and like I get to just practice my Judaism and go to the mikveh every day. You know, it's a ritual bath. I like baptize myself every morning. It's great. You do it too. I know you go to the mikveh.
In your place. Doesn't seem like you're moving back to Florida anytime. So.
This is the Jewish Disney World, bro.
This is It's quite the Jews are very funny, interesting people, and there's all these funny,
very unique,
sometimes ridiculous things going on as well. But there's what's very fascinating is that this tradition or this wisdom has been preserved over like all these millennials, despite these people being spread.
While wandering, you know,
while wandering. So it's very fascinating that.
But I think the wandering made us so unique because there are so many different diverse types of Jews, as you say, from all around the world, especially here in Tzfat. Tzfat's going through a unique revolution right now where people from around the world, Jewish, are coming back home, and it's like, you know, there's British, there's Americans, there's South African, there's Asian, there's African, there's so many. There's Europeans. There's everyone from we were around the world now, you know, and we took like bits and pieces of all different cultures and are coming back now. So you get it like one big melting pot. It's really cool.
One big pot of hummus.
Yeah, delicious.
Can be
You
a
say
bit-
it right, actually.
It can be a bit too spicy at times. I mean, Israel is a very interesting place in this way. It's incredibly intense and very special, but there's an energy. There's not a coincidence to call this the Holy Land, and that all these
Yeah.
prophecies and all these things have been playing out here.
Yeah, the prophecies are happening, man. You can
So
see
give
it.
us an update. So humanity is going. We just went through 3 years of COVID. The
Yeah.
world has
this
been
still
for
happening?
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I
Is
don't know.
COVID a thing still? I don't know.
People are now worried about being.
Oh, because it's flu season, so they're getting a little worried about COVID again.
I think people are more worried about heating their homes at this point.
Yeah.
But it's very fascinating, profound times, and the scriptures, the rabbis, the prophets have been telling us about these times.
End of days. Yeah.
The end of days since a very long time ago. So what are these times about?
So there's many different prophecies. I'm not an expert, but there are many different types, and there are negative prophecies, which a lot of people like to, talk about, dwell upon. They're more like an apocalyptic prophecies. It doesn't have to happen. There are also a lot of good prophecies about the prophecies of the return of the Jewish people, and there'll be wings of eagles, taking us back home. What does that sound like? How did I get here? I went on this giant airplane that looks like a bird. So, listen, the prophets, they were seeing the future, right? How it is right now. They saw us. They could only describe in their times that they were in the words, and how were they going to describe it. So there are prophecies that have already happened, and we're at the end of them. And I believe that prophecy is coming back. It went away for a bit. It's a long conversation, and you should have maybe another time, maybe next time you come back, I'll be more learned and I could pull up sources and stuff. But there are a lot of prophecies that already happened. We went through them all. The end of them now is that the Messiah, Mashiach, which literally Mashiach in Hebrew means anointed. It means there's a ceremony for the king of Israel to be poured oil on him, and that, who was the first one? King Shaul, and King David actually played for him, and the whole story of Goliath and stuff like that. And then King David was the second Mashiach, and then there was King Solomon, and he was the third Mashiach. We had many Mashiachs, so it's not just one Messiah. The Messiah, how the Christians took it and turned it into their own thing, and the Messiah is God, this and that. No, there's this man. He is going to be a king of Israel. He's a prophet, and he's at the end of days. Who is that? That's Messiah, the Mashiach of the end of days that they talk about. There's two of them. There's Mashiach ben Yosef, the son of Joseph, and Mashiach ben David, the son of David. And there's two of them. They have two roles to play. And there's so many different opinions in the Jewish world. Did Mashiach ben Yosef already come? Did he's maybe supposed to die? Did he die already? Everyone's confused, really. When you talk, it depends on who you talk to, really. And I've done my research. I went to so many different communities, and I'm just trying to find out about Mashiach, man. I want Mashiach. I don't care who it is. I want Mashiach now, please. But
it's also this interesting, because then we can also project it outward that someone else is going to come and he's going to save humanity from this place we're in.
Yeah.
And
so this is what's going to happen, bro. It's going to be this guy who's literally talking with God, but at the same time, he's going to help everyone, the whole world, do the same thing.
But it's also like
It's like a
maybe
teacher.
there will be some figures that will come and inspire us, but it's not one person that's gonna come and say. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
have
think
to
he's
do
going to
it.
have a whole team. And, you know, like I always say, I don't care who Mashiach is. That's all up to God. And God's going to tell Eliyahu and Avi, like Elijah the prophet, to come pour oil on somebody. And then we'll all know. So right now, all we have to do, even no matter who the Messiah is, Mashiach, a lot of people already think they know. Like even in the Jewish world, they all argue like, oh no, the Rebbe's Mashiach. Oh no, Rabbi Nachman's Mashiach. Everyone's like arguing, but it's like, no, we bring Mashiach and that's up to God. It doesn't matter who
Isn't the
the
thing
anointed will be.
we all are that is gonna save us. It's not someone
Yeah,
else that's
yeah.
gonna come and do it.
No,
You-
we're doing it as a team together. He's just going to lead the pack. It's like anything, you know, you have a quarterback, but you need all the players there's an MVP.
Yeah, I'm just.
It does.
I think it's
We're not
dangerous.
waiting for him. We're not like saying we're going to be saved by him. We are doing our part every single day and trying to like be that team who are going to bring, you know, the temple, like the third temple. That's like the one way we know who the Messiah is. Like we have to bring peace on earth. We have to bring like many different things to know that this person is going to be the Messiah. And there's going to be a king. Someone's going to be anointed, whatever. It's like, it's a technical thing because for some reason humanity loves to have a king. So
one of my missions is also to like bring this onto a broader perspective that goes beyond the whole the Jewish thing and also Israel, because I think these prophecies can be applied on a more global level that's
Totally.
that's not, because these are stories and these are prophecies from this corner of the planet, but there are prophecies and there are things coming from from like ancient civilization, from indigenous people, from
yeah,
all over the world, and I think it's very important to see that they all carry
they're all
a
all
certain
together
truth, and
for
they're
sure.
like all of these play a part in the greater scheme of
Yeah.
things, and so does this like Abrahamic myth, and like it's gonna play a very important role in this whole thing that we're.
Like I said, it's in biblical type of language, you know. So it's different than like Nostradamus, like his prophecies, or Aztec prophecies. You know, like each one is. I think they're all talking about similar things, the same thing, but there are different visions, and there's different ways how to describe it. In every culture, they had different ways how to describe it.
It was also necessary because different cultures have different way of perceiving
Yeah.
the world naturally.
There are prophecies, I would say, in all cultures also as a some type of there's two different things. There's like the peace, like peace on earth, and having like a place of you know, harmony and peace, and the whole world's in peace. And then there's other negative prophecies of like all cultures I've seen, that there's like an apocalypse or something like that. And I think that's up to us. Which future do we want to see?
Exactly, and this is what we're
Yeah.
here for. We have to create it ourselves rather than leaving it to politicians.
Yeah.
Or to
No.
billionaires,
They're going to
Jesus.
the apocalypse because they think they're going to make money. So don't listen to the politicians, bro.
No, so that's the thing. We have to take responsibility as a collective and as individuals of actually creating that
100%.
that future and understanding that we are the creators.
Yeah.
We are the creators, and that was the gift that
We
God
are
with life
made,
gave
man
us.
is made in God's image. And what does God do? He creates. He created all of this. And he gave, that's why life, especially something so simple of having relation and then a baby comes out. It's miraculous. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And it's incredible. And then he, like now my child is growing, my children are growing up and they're becoming like, they're going to be a person just like how we are people, you know, and it's so cool. And God gave us that power. And I think that's why it's so important and special. And I think that will help the world. But we have to teach our children the right values and no more hate. Everyone has to stop teaching hate. No more. Like, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I love everybody. Like it doesn't matter if what culture you are, what race you are, what color you are, what gender you are. If you are a human being, I love you. If you are a living creature, I love you. Because we're all created by God. And that's how everyone, I think, should
be translated to love. So it is in that space of giving and
we need to learn to give more. Give to your loved ones. Give them money, like for no reason. Like give tzedakah. You see that man on the street and he's starving? Go buy him food. Everyone has to play their part and be like that type of Messiah figure, like you were trying to say. Like everyone, that's how we're going to bring the ultimate one. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Everyone has this theory. It might be this person or that person, or and everyone thinks they're right, but at the same time, arguing is not going to bring it. It's let's live like it, and it will manifest. So, or fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Put that smile on, even if you're feeling blue. Just like for that don't ruin that person's day. Yeah, and if you see someone frowning, you go try to make them smile. It's like if everyone was doing that, it would be a much better world.
Yeah. So it's indeed very special times in this way, because it seems like we're reaching a point where humanity is something very deep within us as a collective, and individuals
for sure
have to evolve and develop, like in terms of consciousness and our own way of looking at the world and ourselves, and what role we are to play in the greater ecosystem of the earth.
Right.
Because it seems like if we're not going to be able to coexist and actually live on this planet for too many more decades. Perhaps that's also why we're seeing so many our systems, and even more so our social identities fall apart. The way we've been relating to each other through different nationalities, through race, through maybe even gender, and also religion. It seems like as these identities are collapsing, there is more and more chaos in the world, because we don't know who we are anymore.
Yeah.
So what is needed is for us to unite beyond any outer identity on a greater primary identity.
Yeah.
Which maybe you know something about. Maybe it could.
I mean, we're all from Adam. Adam literally means man. Or scientifically, Adam, we're all made of atoms. We could look at it at that. And that means we're all one. We're all the same thing. We're all atoms just put together. But not just that. That's our physical being, right? Everything's made out of atoms. So that kind of fixes that. But we're also the same soul. We're all from the same source. So we're all connected on the spiritual realm as well. And that's how we should be seeing each other. I look at you, I see God. You are godly light.
Which means that you look at me and you see you.
Yes, you're just a different version of me. And we're the same person. We're one. It's just we're just different versions of each other, and interacting with each other. We're kind of schizophrenic. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean
we're the same thing, man. I look at you and I see a beautiful person, a human being, and that's me. And we're the same.
So it's recognizing that we are the same. We come from the same essence.
Yeah.
We are here as this life, this force, this divine essence that is making all life possible, but that we also have our own unique niche, our own unique role to play in this individual life.
Yeah, and I absolutely love everything unique about you. It's awesome. Your blonde hair, you're so tall, you got good style. I like it. It's like you got cool vibes coming from you, and that just makes life more fun and interesting when we interact with each other and just be ourselves, because God made us exactly who we are. He didn't want another version of me. He wanted you to be you, and he wanted us to be who we are. And also, like, in religion, right? Like, if religion is changing you and changing who you really are as, like, your personality and, like, stuff like that, it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to enhance you and make you into a better version of yourself, more caring, more sensitive, and you know, like, not cursing or trying to be holy and focus on giving and doing good than instead of just greedy things for yourself.
And maybe also going beyond even calling it a religion, but calling it a system of
yeah.
practice. Or a
religion is man-made.
System of connecting.
Religion is man-made. It is. That is what it is. And it evolves also over the years. It's, you know, like Judaism now is very different than Judaism way back then. It evolved, but it evolved in the way God wanted it to evolve. I would say same with every culture. And, you know, we've gone through a roller coaster. And, yeah, like you said, a lot of people are mixed up and they don't, like, no one knows anything anymore. In America, it's one big melting pot, so it's like there's really not... It's a weird culture there. I can't really explain it, but it's you don't feel like it's not tribal anymore. There's no one has a people.
So it's when we forget our roots and we forget this connection to the earth, to the mother, which is also very...
Yeah, and everyone's in their own bubble, in their own life. They're all watching TV and Netflix and chilling all day. Besides, they're either working or they're at Netflix and chilling, or they're in the club. But it's like very mindless, and I was stuck in it for a little while throughout college and stuff. And thank God when I came to Israel, it woke me up. And then I wanted to, like, really live a meaningful life instead of party every day. And I wanted to connect to my family. I wanted to connect to who I am, my essence, my roots. And along the way, wow, my ancestor has some really cool teachings. And yeah, I'm still on my journey.
Because it seems like life itself very much supports us in following that calling, and following that mission, and following that voice that tells us where to go and what to do. That's
what you do, right?
That's what I do.
You know, and you just like, oh, I got to go to India. Oh, and then you go on over there. Oh, now wow, I got to spend some time on this island. And then you go to the island. Bro, you're the world traveler, man. And it's so cool that you're going to different cultures and getting to, like, really feel their vibe and get to know them and share the secrets of, you know, their cultures as well. I'm excited to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, it's a wild journey.
Cool. You're still sailing, right?
Yeah.
Remember you were like, I'm gonna sail all over the world.
Yeah, long story. I realized that was a bigger project than firstly.
Do you still want to pursue that?
Yeah, but
cool.
I know that will happen when it's meant to happen.
Well, if you ever do that, please come by on the Mediterranean and let me know. And I would love to, like, jump on your boat for a little while and just, you know.
I will, brother. I think that's going to be another chapter in our lives.
Cool.
Because we've got some more urgent... There's more urgent things that are happening at this point in...
The whole world is at stake.
we gotta do our best to really like make this go through this initiation. As I see it,
I believe you're gonna really, like, bring people together and help in the whole process, man.
Yeah, that's what we're here. I mean, what's other than that? What's worth fighting for? What's worth doing anything else than actually making?
That is the thing.
Creating this world. It's quite miserable, but incredibly beautiful world. A more better place for our children. Look at
it like maybe God's whole feel on everything, like a father, like a parent with a child, right? He wants his children to get along. As me, like, when my son and my daughter, like, they get into, like, it's usually my son, but you know, when someone hits somebody and they start crying, and I'm trying to, like, make them get along. That's all I want. I just want them to get along. God does not want anybody fighting. There should not be. We should get rid of the weapons. Like, obviously, we need to keep them for protection, maybe aliens. But other than that, like, also, if an alien invasion came, wouldn't everybody just drop all their religion? Not religions, but like they would drop like all these divisions, right? And like all get along and see each other as human beings and help each other. Let's not wait for anything like that, like we should do it now before we destroy ourselves, because stupid little arguments and who's in charge of it with the buttons of a nuke? These politicians, like, who put them in charge?
We put them in charge.
So let's take it away.
Let's grow up.
Let's put it in charge. For sure, I get it. There's always a leader. There's a shepherd of the pack and stuff like that. But we need the right people, not corrupt. The corrupt with
we are the leaders,
plan.
and the true leaders. They don't even have to pronounce themselves as leaders. They will be seen as leaders. They will be seen as elders. True 100%. Elders don't have to go around and 100%. Prove themselves.
But step one, take away the power of the governments.
Absolutely. So, but it's also, it seems to me when I listen to the earth, when I listen to this process that humanity is going through, it's not that we, you and me, we are the only ones doing this, but
there's so many people.
The whole earth, there's all these people, but the whole earth, the earth herself, God, the whole universe wants us to make it through this initiation, to actually take our place on this planet as caretakers, as custodians, as facilitators of life on this planet, which is the Garden of Eden, no? Like coming back to that ultimate source.
So there's this something called tikkun olam in Hebrew, and that means fixing the world. How do we fix the world? There's so much darkness and evil since we ate from the forbidden fruit, and we had to learn lessons along the way. But the number one lesson that I take away from what the whole story of Adam, are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
So basically, Adam was told not to, eat the fruit, right? Then when Eve was born, when she was like taken from the rib and everything like that, and then Adam told Eve, don't touch the tree. So don't touch it or don't eat it. Don't touch it and eat it. He added something, right? And then the snake put Eve against the tree, saying, look, like first he goes up and say, hey, you should eat this. And she's like, no, I can't touch it or eat it. I'm going to die. And he's like, look, and he puts her hand on the tree and he's like, look, you're not dead. You should try it. And he convinced her, tried it. The whole thing happened. Then she gave it over to Adam, right? So then God comes in and God's like, and why is God, he comes in and he's like, Adam, where are you? It's like, what do you mean? Like God knows exactly where Adam is, but he's asking, where are you holding now? Like he wanted to see, give an opening to Adam, and he already knew what he did. He just wanted to see if he's going to admit now. There's a thing called repentance and tshuva, like to return, like to own up to what you did and to say sorry, like that was like, he was trying to teach him this lesson. And then what did Adam say to God? He said, the woman that you gave me made me eat it. So not only he's blaming his wife, he's blaming God. And it's like, what? And then the next thing, he goes to Eve and he says, why did you do it? And he's like, the snake made me do it. Like the evil inclination made me do it. Another blame, not taking ownership. Then the snake is like, you made me do it, God. Like everyone's not taking ownership whatsoever. And I think that is going to really start healing the world if people just say, oh man, I'm so sorry, I messed up. And we take it from there, because
we have to recognize what it is and then also forgive.
Yeah. Just treat others like you want to be treated. That is rule number one. You don't want to be messed around with and tortured in any way possible. Like you want to be treated in such a sweet, loving, kind way. So do that to others, and that, I think,
it's a very simple way of orienting
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah.
But then it's also so difficult, and also seeing that the outer is a reflection of our inner. And this whole story
That's
of
true.
the first book of Moses and the story of creation and the Garden of, it's very, very fascinating, and it's coded on many levels. But what is that like? Why did, if you translate that to a more graspable like way of looking at it, that story, like, what is it that? How did we like leave that flow, that complete unity? Like the rest of nature is in that unity all the time, but humanity, we got kicked out of that, and
we're kicked out, but we're gonna return.
But we're gonna return, and this is what this thing.
But
is
not
up.
only that, we're gonna return. Where we were kicked out, we're gonna make that the Garden of Eden too. We're gonna create. God wants all of creation to be like the Garden of Eden.
My question is though, like. What was it in us that something in us wanted us to experience this separation, to experience this suffering,
duality,
this pain of not being whole, perhaps to find our way back.
Makes us stronger.
Perhaps that is the play and the imagination of the great creator.
I believe that from the tree of knowledge, it gave us knowledge. But it gave us knowledge not only of just this godly light, but there is this darkness that is a lack of light. And and I think now that we have this understanding of it, once we go back to just like pure godly light, we're going to appreciate it so much more. Listen, everyone wants to get rid of suffering and pain and anguish and depression and evil, right? Like at least the majority of the world wants to get rid of it, and we can do it. We could do it. We don't have to be kicked out of the garden forever. We could earn our way back into it. And how do you do that? Is through tshuva. God created repentance, tshuva, before he created the world, because he knew that Adam was going to mess up anyways in the first place.
Repentance can be a very hard word.
Not repentance like the Christian way. Tshuva literally in Hebrew means to return. Just return back to God. To like, you admit what you did wrong, just like a child, man. Like now I'm learning so much more that I have children, and I'm like teaching them, and I'm trying to like help them develop and be raised in the right way. They make mistakes along the way. It's okay. They fall down a few times. They get back up, and I help them back up. They might cry, and I teach them. If they do something wrong, they have to know that it's wrong, and they feel bad about it. But then he ends up saying sorry, and then everything's okay again, and it's like everyone's back happy again instead of like all fighting and chaotic.
Because it is that unforgiveness, is that unresolved traumas through generations, through millennia.
Forgiveness is real.
That is keeping us stuck in this cycle of dysfunction, which is also karma. I mean, we're repeating the same.
It's either it's going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating, or we just apologize, and those who are getting apologized be open to forgiving, and we have to learn our lesson. Or it's just going to be a constant cycle until, I don't know,
but that's also where the pressure of today comes in, the pressure of us actually facing an existential threat, as we may not be able to like continue living on this planet.
I know.
So this pressure is also pushing us to this point where we have to make some fundamental shifts.
We need to do it. We need to all sit down, have coffee with each other or whatever it is, like have a nice meal together and all talk about peace on earth. Let's just do it. It doesn't matter what culture you are. Everyone has to do it. And unless you're like super evil and you like want to destroy the world, then okay, now you're our enemies. Like that's it. It's like you either want to be with God or you want to be in the darkness. There's Jedis and there's the Sith. There's always a balance of a duality of good and evil because we live in that. But it's up to us. We have the free will to pick. And then, I think that all darkness is going to be gone once there's more light in the world. And there is light. We just have to group together and be the light onto the nations.
And also understanding that it's not about fighting the darkness or trying to
No, it's shining more light. Darkness will disappear if there's more light.
As integrating the darkness into the light.
Darkness is not even there anymore because there's more light.
No, because it's integrated into the light. It's become the light.
Okay, that's one way to put it, I guess. Yeah.
It's like we have to...
It's the same thing. It's just a different way of saying it.
Because we've been suppressing all these aspects of our individual and collective psyches, and COVID was a great example of that suppression that comes out in the most fascist ways experienced since World War II, in terms of vaccine mandates and masks and the most extreme censorship. Yeah,
which was from World War I.
So all of this, these are shadows, and
but why is
they also need to be shown. They also need to be exposed in order to be recognized and reconciliated. And when they are that, they evaporate. They become the light. No, it's like you walk into a room and you turn on the light, and the darkness becomes the light.
Yeah. Yeah. I say darkness is really a lack of light, and then when there's light filling that, then there's no such thing as darkness.
But then also seeing, as it says in Genesis, darkness is needed as a contrast to the light, because
God had to make a vacuum, because everything is God, right? So it's all godly light, and so then he had to make a vacuum called Simsum, and it's like a whole thing. I could show you the different. I have a diagram, I could show you on the phone, and so it goes through this whole system, just like imagine electricity. Right, and there's a power plant. You can't just plug your phone into the power plant. Your phone's going to explode. You need to break it down, and it has to go through it has to go through contractions, and then all the way through, so it could go into this. You could plug in your phone into the wall, and your phone won't explode. It'll power it up. So the same thing with this in this world. Everything was godly light, and God wanted to create a world. But how was he going to do that if he is everything? So he had to make a space, a vacuum space, which is outer space basically. It's the same thing, and he created. He contracted all his light. It's talked about in the Kabbalah, and he contracted it and created this world into this physical realm.
Yeah.
And he created this.
He created something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And that is the
and us, we could create something from something. Yeah, but he gave us the power of creation. So made in his image, but we're not God. And we will never be God, and we are imperfect, and that's okay. And it's not supposed to be like we become gods. We have to act godly and be godly and overcome this.
Well, we have to recognize that essence within us.
No? Yeah. Because that's what's going to overpower the poison that got into us when we ate from the forbidden fruit, which is the dark side, which is that really annoying voice in your head that, in cartoons, there's the angel on the shoulder and there's the devil on the shoulder. That's the two voices. It's like the good voice and the bad inclination in your head. So don't listen to all the evil, negative stuff in your head. That's not you. It is not you. It's the other side. It's this other negative force that God created to play this whole role of life, to give us free will, actually. And why did God want us to have free will? Do you know why? He didn't want to create robots. He wanted to create a living, thinking, being that will make its own decisions. And, that's what God wanted for us, and I love it. Life is beautiful. It's really fun. It's like a video game.
And the Kabbalistic perspective is because a lot of people listening to this, when we speak about God, that's a very strange word. But what is that word?
Oh,
wait.
Oh, sorry.
And as we're talking about He, and it's something out there that's doing this onto us. But for me, one of the what really dawned on me, and spiritually when I came to Tzfat, was that it's nothing outside of me. It's inside of me, and using the term God is merely an expression, it's a finger pointing to that source, to that essence that is within me. And I think that was a very important piece for me, and I think if the listener also can tune into that will suddenly, it all makes sense of what we're talking about, and what this whole thing is about. But if we're seeing it as this external entity somewhere, maybe up in heaven or somewhere else, it gets very confusing.
There's no man in the sky.
It's an experience. It's like we have to feel that within us, no?
Yeah, 100%. And everybody has that godly spark inside of them. And also, I just want to say, for the word God, it doesn't have a lot of meaning behind it, but in the Hebrew way of saying it, Hashem literally means the name. And then there's this ultimate name, Yud, He, and the Vav He. No, it's not up there. It's usually on some of these arcs. I could show you in a book, but that's the ultimate name, because it means He was, He is, and He will be, which is like all time and space. And the only reason why we say He most of the time, because masculine, He is always giving. Just like a man gives seed and stuff like that, it's always He is giving, and then she is always receiving. It's like the whole cycle of life and energies and stuff like that, the feminine, the masculine. And actually, we refer to God sometimes as she when we are giving our prayers over. So it really depends on what the context is and what we're doing with God, because God doesn't have gender, but God is the creator of gender and all these different energies. And then not only that, God has many other names too. He has I don't even know how many. I know of 72, and then there's the 42 letter name. There's a lot of different names, but each name has different energies to it. So it's really this godly light, but expressing itself in a different energy. And every energy has a different thing to it. Like there's one name for healing, and then there's another name for time travel. Time travel as in going into your past and thinking, it's basically learning lessons and not just regretting what you did, but learning the lessons. I'm never going to do that again. And then there's many other different names. There's a name for bringing miracles into your life. There's so many different names of God that it's a meditative thing that Avraham Abulafia, my ancestor, it's one of his teachings. It's really cool. I could show you the names.
Because to me, what I experienced here in Israel, and also to me, the Jewish connection or the essence of this divine, which is experienced during the prayers, during the Shabbat, to me, it's a lot about the upward connection to this source, to this divine, to this undivided essence, undual essence, this where it all comes from. While perhaps more indigenous traditions, as we spoke about, that I visited in the Amazonian rainforest and in the Andes, they don't have any of these books. They don't have any books. They don't really have any theories, but they're the roots into the earth and the roots into Gaia, to Pachamama, and to that life as well. And it's easy, one can like fly out into God, and it's like forget about humanity, forget about the roots, but we're here to bring that down into the roots and embody that in wholeness. And yeah, that's a lot of what my
both are needed. And I love when both cultures meet each other. You know, I would love to go to the Amazon and hang out with them.
Yeah,
I would love for them to come here, and I'd give them a tour, and you know, bring them for a Shabbat
bring them on
meal.
a Rasta tour.
Yeah, have a great time. You know.
Yeah.
Would they travel actually? Would they get on a plane? And
yeah, they travel all the time to Europe.
Really?
There's sometimes they're here in Israel actually.
No way.
Yeah, the whole ceremony's here.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there was one here just a few weeks ago.
Cool. Yeah, and I know it happens a lot. I have a few friends that go sometimes, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, but really bridging. And
But I didn't know actual like the real tribal ones would go on an airplane and
I mean, not the real tribe, but the ones that I mean.
I was thinking like deep in the Amazon.
They are very deep, but
but they still come to like modern society and stuff and interact. That's so cool.
I facilitated in Sweden. I facilitated ceremonies.
Yeah.
I hosted
No way. Wow. I would love to go to that.
Yeah, you would definitely love to go to it.
That'd be awesome.
It's incredible. It's a whole nother thing than being here and with the scriptures, and this is a whole nother energy.
Yeah, no,
but I can really see that they all play.
Everything's
play
connected.
Different roles in the system, in this greater web of life, and it's not that one thing is the only thing or one thing is better than the other thing. And to me, that's also something I want to forward to all people, also the Jewish people. That it's not all about the Jews, and it's not all about.
No, you know. Do you know what the Jews are supposed to do? We're just supposed to be the light unto the nations, as in, you know, there's like certain laws. Like I told you about the 7 Noahide laws, right? Like it's just don't steal, don't murder, don't, you know, like make a nice like court system in a way, not a corrupt one that they have in a lot of places, but like there should be right and wrong, and that's it. Because the world was going pretty crazy, and then God destroyed the world. So, you know the story of Noah, and it was because it was chaotic, and everyone was raping each other and killing each other and taking animals, not even killing the animals, taking one limb off the animal, cooking that, and then keeping the animal alive until to do it again. They were doing messed up things. Like in the Torah, it talks about very horrible things. Yeah, okay, so God had to destroy the world, and then he wanted humanity to keep going, so he had Noah and his family to come and then they repopulated the world again. So these things did happen, bro.
But then will be listeners that are thinking, come on, dude.
No, there's evidence. They even think they found it in Turkey in the mountains, like his ark. Google it, man. I'm just saying, but okay.
The thing is that regardless if it's happened or not, and I'm sure it did, but it's like these are also stories. These are like it happened. They are also.
It's not just stories.
It's not just stories, but they're painting a face or something that humanity went through. Like they're just descriptions of history in some regards, and of the human psyche.
But it just shows that we're all connected. We all go back to, that one human being, right? But it's like a human body, right? We're all think of the nations as one human body, and there's like each part of the body has a different function. So everybody's unique, and they all have their own function and wisdom and whatever they need to do. But I think everyone should be themselves, be their culture, but we all have to accept each other for each other's cultures. And the Jewish people are only supposed to be love and light into the world, but we're not, because why? We're really messed up right now. We've been through so much trauma, dude, and you've met a lot of different Jews now, okay? You see how diverse we are. There's a joke. 2 Jews go into a room, they have a conversation. There's 2 Jews, 3 opinions. 2 Jews, 3 opinions. There's another opinion. They're always arguing, man. You come here during the day, You come here during the day when everyone's learning. They're all, like arguing over this one and that one is like.
And it's not like Israel is the most peaceful place on earth.
No, it's the most hostile. We're like the only democracy in the Middle East, and everyone hates us. And you go to where was the soccer game, the football in Qatar, right? It was in Qatar. I saw some videos of people just pretending that they're Israelis, and they're like interviewing and saying they're from Israel, and then they're like, bro, the worst things I've ever seen, like on TV. People hate Israel.
But also recognizing that Israel is not perfect. And
no, the government sucks, but all other governments suck. Yeah. But I'm here for because I love the lands. I love the people. Right. Even I don't care about Israel, Palestine. I don't care about like who is who. You're a human being. Please be nice, and that's it. And
I think this is what we also need to show, like the listeners and the world, that like many of the Jewish people, like at least what I experienced here, they're amazing and they're very inviting and like the most hospitable people that I've met. But then there are, as you said, there are some not too good Jews that are running like parts of the system as well.
Yeah. You know what they're called, right? No. The Erev Rav. They're the mixed multitude. They're the ones who made us do the golden calf in right after Mount Sinai, and it's unfortunate, but it's people that aren't really Jewish. Like not that they're not like really from Jews, but they're not living a Jewish kosher life. They aren't. Like the ones who are running the media, the ones who are running banks and stuff like that people always think that all the Jews are behind this whole conspiracy. No, it's
ridiculous. It's creating this easy way of comprehending the world and blaming.
We're the scapegoat. People. If there's a problem, people like to point at someone, just like Adam did. Man, it's the same thing. You point the finger, and all the problems will go away. No, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. I was born this way. I'm born Jewish. That's it. And actually, I love the lifestyle. And why I'm not the richest man in the world. So actually, like I'm not so rich right now, but I'm going through financial problems. Where are these banks that are run by Jews? They're taking my money. It's this 1%, and they're not kosher Jews, man. They're not following the word of God, and they're not. Why are they representing the Jewish people?
No, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't be.
And that's the case with all peoples. No, that's there's good people everywhere. But
for example, other cultures, I don't point the finger, and even when like a terrorist attack happens or something, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. Like that person who did it is evil and messed up. And they so happen to be this culture or that culture. It doesn't matter. They don't represent the whole people, And same with in Gaza and stuff like that. Hamas is a terrorist organization who is the government. The people are innocent. The people there, they're trapped by their own government. And it's a shame. And like the people say free Palestine. Yeah, free them from Hamas. Why are terrorists in charge of a government? I don't get it. Anyways, all governments need to be like looked at and just get rid of it and let's redo the whole thing because it's not working out.
We definitely gotta.
And that's the whole thing about Mashiach. He's an anointed king from God, so he's like this righteous guy. But that part is not up to us. We don't have that job. That is God. God does that. So it's going to be an interesting ride. But we really should get rid of all these horrible politicians. How do we do that? I don't even know how to do it. Where do we start? Got any ideas? Do you guys have ideas? Click below in the comments. Anyways, there's a lot to talk about. I don't know. I'm just a simple guy who just wants to chill and like have peace, and you see my lifestyle. I like chill, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's finding that way back to that essence of who we are, of the humanity of who we are, but also the divinity of who we are.
Yeah.
And
taking hate out of one's heart,
right.
That's the way.
And that's something that comes with it in the process.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And it's not easy. And then you're going to have, that guy you're driving, and then he cuts you off. And then instead of you screaming at him and cursing and saying calling him many different names, just be like, oh, wow, maybe he's in like a hurry for something. Maybe there's an emergency. I don't know. I would say start giving the benefit of the doubt more. That's what people need to start doing, instead of accusing and playing the victim card, or I'm right, you're wrong. Let's just try to get together. Like, obviously, if you need to protect yourself, that's a whole different thing of self-defense. But other than that, just be a good person. You have more questions? What time is it, by the way?
Looking for the questions. That's irrelevant.
The time doesn't exist here anyways.
It's pretty late.
Okay. Let's wrap it up soon,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to wake up early tomorrow morning. But if you have any other question that you want to cover, let's go for it.
Yeah. Do you have any additional thoughts on, because this is also why I want to come here and see the people here, is on these very turbulent times we live in, and for the people that are having a very, very tough time right now and suffering, maybe not having enough food, maybe not having heating in their houses, and wondering what's going to happen to the planet, to humanity, they're really stuck in a lot of fear of uncertainty in these times, what the future is gonna look like, because we are so focused on the fear of what we're losing that most of us are unable to tune into the possibility of what we are able to create in this, and that maybe even what is happening is necessary for this new to be created, for a new dawn to rise. So I'm wondering if you have any
final thoughts,
and like what can people put their trust and faith
into God, into. You have to put your trust into that everything is happening for a reason. It all works out no matter what, and it will. And we don't have control over, necessarily what's happening, but we have control over how to react to it. Where God is doing it to us, all of our experiences. It's more of like an improv of like, how are you going to react to this? And the correct way, if you want to survive, I believe, and I've read this in certain other. It wasn't like a prophecy. It was more of it's a lower level of prophecy. It's called Ruach HaKodesh. It's hard to explain, but Rabbi Nachman talks about it, where he says at the end of days, God's going to take the world and shake it up. And he's whoever's holding on and who will survive is the one holding on to God, and meaning that like whoever holds on to their faith, and they know that like, and they pray, and they believe in the higher power, that it's like everything's going to be okay, and everything's happening and working out exactly how it needs to work out, because that's the truth. And then you're going to see miracles.
And then we may be able to support the process rather than resist it and fight it.
Exactly. If you don't fight the river that's flowing like downstream, you just flow with it. And we're all humanity is headed towards something, and we're going to evolve into these light beings, and it's going to be incredible. And I think everybody feels something's changing, and something big's happening. And just know that this is just the storm passing through. Like, this too shall pass. It's all for the good. And God only does good. There's nothing that He does that's not good. It might be seemingly bad sometimes, but really, in hindsight, it was good. It had to happen that way because it's going to get us to here where we need to go. We just talk to God. Go out to the forest. Go out to a field, or maybe you're in your car by yourself, or in a room by yourself. It could be anywhere, but seclude yourself and talk to God in your own words, in your own language, from your heart, and start developing that relationship. And that's how you put your trust into God.
And another way of putting that as well is, if someone doesn't resonate or get the word God, which I really understand,
you can say universe.
Talk to nature, talk to the sky, talk to the heavens.
It's all God.
Yeah, talk to
I say God because it's that's English, but I always say Hashem, and Hashem means like the ultimate one, the name, or Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the blessed one. There's so many different names, but whatever you want to call this higher power, that is the ultimate God, and it's just one. It's the one unity. There's no duality. Duality is just the illusion that God used to create life. So it's not a bad thing. It's just we don't worship this thing and then that thing it exists on its own and that thing exists on its own. It's like, no, it's all unified, one. So it's just one God.
Right. And so yeah, we are in these very special times.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's very exciting. And
let's see what Hashem has next.
It's a very important mission to support people in and like creating that spark of hope, and like shining that through oneself, like through one's own understanding that we have to go through this. Like sometimes I have to go through tough things in my own personal journey in order to grow. Yeah, that is something we have to go through as a collective, and it might be ungraspable, and it might be very painful, and it might be, but
it's like growing pains.
Yeah, understanding
or birthing pains.
Because understanding that this goes beyond us, you, me, like even humanity. There's something way bigger going on. Yeah,
and also in like my own personal life, if I go through something really rough, and then like later down the line, I like look back and I see it, I'm like, oh wow, thank God that happened, because now I think like this, and this is how it turned me into who I am now, you know. And so when we're going through something rough, just know that like God only gives you what you could handle, and you could handle this, and because you're experiencing it, and you know, I know it's going to help me develop into, you know, wherever I need to develop into, and evolve into the next type of person I need to be, my higher self. I need to be. We're just growing, you know, and as an individual and also globally. So.
So one's greatest satisfaction and fulfillment can then also be to understand and then also live and take action. Yeah. In that role that and one is here to play.
And walk it.
Live and walk it, and not see like, oh well, one day when Mashiach comes, or when Jesus comes, or when then we're gonna live in this peace on earth and God, and even know.
Live it now.
Actually living it now, because understanding that my own inner reality is creating the outer.
There's a saying, I'm sure you've heard it many times since you've been here. People, like, it's kind of like a saying in Tzfat all the time. It's not just a Chabad thing. It's like a lot of people say it, Mashiach now. And they say it all the time, and you might see like there's graffiti and like a lot of different things that always says Mashiach now. And it means that we want Mashiach now. Like, we want that harmony right now. We don't want to wait for anything. We don't want to wait.
Because there's no other space than the now that we actually can
There's
create.
only now. There's only now. Now only exists. There's the now of the past, the now of the now, and the now of the future. But there's only now, so we need to live it. And the only way to live it is that we are good to each other.
And also the only place where we can find that divine, where we can get in touch with that essence of God, or whatever name of being, of life, is in the now. It's not in a mental thought of the future or of the past.
We need to be present.
Amen.
Because life is the present.
Life is the present. And yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Do you have any final thoughts? Any final thing you would like to share?
I just want to say to the people listening, I love you, and thank you for being you, and keep on, enjoying the journey, and hope to cross paths with you one day. And keep on listening to my good friend Sam over here. Shmulik. Shmuel, we call him over here. And he's a very special individual, and I love when you come through to Tzfat all the time. And then you call me randomly from another country or another continent, wherever you may be in the world, having amazing experiences, and I thank you for doing that. It's inspiring, and you're a man of peace. That's who you are, and I believe that you're really going to help humanity, finally get there. And I think you're bringing the people together who are also on this mission. And then one day we'll probably all be together.
We'll be having a big party.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, and this is also why I'm here, because I know, and we're having this talk because this place has really shaped my whole journey from when I was 20. If I wasn't here, and if I didn't have that initial encounter with you 5 years ago in Tzfat, where it all kind of clicked in me, I would not be who I am today, and I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
And recognizing that there is so much mystery and so much like incredibility and awesomeness in being alive, and there's so much depth in being a human, and
it's only the beginning.
There's so many dimensions and ways to play this game, and the Kabbalists around here, they know a thing or two about that. So.
Yeah. And it's just the tip of the iceberg, and let's see where this journey takes us.
Baruch Hashem. Thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure, bro.
Love you, brother.
Love
Take
you.
care.
And love you guys. And I'm excited to see what's next.
Right, and you've also got a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. Oh, we forgot to talk about that. But check out Jewish Superheroes. It's Team Aleph on YouTube.
What's all? How do you spell Aleph?
Aleph.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing content. And this is a part of your mission as well, is to spread this wisdom.
We want to teach, stories from the Torah throughout history, like of the Jewish people, throughout Jewish tradition, and bring it alive as Jewish superheroes, And I believe through the entertainment, platform, we could teach, and we could, provide beautiful, lessons throughout the whole experience. And it's action adventure. It's comedy too. It's a lot of fun, because most people these days, unfortunately, they're not really reading. I wasn't reading when I was, more secular and just going to school and partying. And even when I was in school, I would just try to find the answers, and that's it. I wasn't really absorbing. But now I'm learning all this Torah. But I was just watching movies all day. And now even worse, you have TikTok, and everyone's just like this, on their phones. I walk through the mall sometimes, and I just see kids just flipping through, and so I figured out, like, what if I combine Torah, which I'm becoming a rabbi, it's my job to like teach Torah. What if I combined it with entertainment, with acting, which is one of my passions. When I went through high school, I was in TV club and TV production. In college, I wanted to become a comedian actor, kind of like Adam Sandler. But then I started pursuing this and becoming a rabbi. But then I was like, wait, why don't I just combine everything together that I love? And I feel like this would reach, this generation where it's through entertainment, but we're teaching them stories. And I love superheroes. Since a kid, I would watch Power Rangers, I would watch Dragon Ball Z, I would watch, you name it, Ninja Turtles, so they were all awesome.
So you're creating this
for the Jewish people and also the world, like everyone could watch it. Every other culture has like some type of superhero or like tradition, and they like Thor is, Vikings, right? Or like, no, northern. He's like a northern god.
Yeah, it's a lot of mythology.
Yeah. So like, what about Torah? Come on. Like,
yeah, there's
we have so many awesome stories. Yeah. And like, not only just superheroes, like later down the line, I would love to have a Netflix show of King David's life, or there's so much to create. And right, Hollywood is kind of like Jewish, right? There's a lot of Jews in Hollywood, but they're not really kosher Jews, man.
They're not holy.
Again, like Kanye, right? Ye, he's this whole thing with the Jewish people going DEF CON 3, whatever it is. He might have had bad experiences with these non-kosher Jews. And I feel sorry for the guy. And like, listen, man, you're right. They're making horrible content. You go on Netflix. There's a show called Lucifer. Why does he have a show? like what? They're like very demonic shows that I'm seeing like pop up on like Netflix and other things like that. So, okay, we have to fight it. We have to fight. There's a lot of darkness out there. So, okay, let's make holy content. Take Hollywood and turn it into Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Centered.
That's Tzfat. Tzfat is Hollywood, right? It's like one big movie set. And there's so many amazing artists and actors and just talented people from around the world, and they're here.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be amazing.
Hope to have you in one of the episodes.
I'm gonna definitely be featuring in.
That'd be awesome.
In one of the episodes.
So yeah, it's called The Adventures of Super Sadik, and yeah,
amazing.
Enjoy. Team Aleph. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing.
All right, guys.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.